Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we are going to cover the topic of eye from the GCSE O-level syllabus. The learning objective that we are going to cover is describe the gross structure of the eye as seen in front view and in horizontal section, along with taking a look at the functions of the structure. Let's begin. We need to take a look at the external structure of the eye first. In the external structure of the eye, we have the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. Then we have the sclera. The sclera is the visible white portion of the eye, which is on the both left and the right sides of the iris. The iris is this circular muscle. Now, iris is made up of two muscles, circular and radial muscles, and iris controls the diameter of this inner circle, which is known as the pupil. Pupil is the only opening in the eye from which light can enter inside the eye and image can be formed. We also have a tear duct on this portion of the eye, which is not present in the picture. And this is the tear gland is present over here, and the tear duct is this one. When excessive tears are produced, mainly while we are crying, the tears usually come out from here. It should be noted that as we can observe even on our eyes, that our eyes are moist. So basically these are the tears that are in minimum quantities that are present over the surface of our eyes to keep our eyes moist, which is very beneficial, and we're going to look at it later. The upper eyelid and the lower eyelids, they are used for blinking. What happens when we blink? When we are going to blink, the tear is going to spread throughout this eye so that our eyes will receive moisture evenly. The second function of the eyelids are that when we are exposed to bright light, the eyelids partly tend to close. This closure will basically prevent bright amounts of light and huge amounts of light entering into our eyes, which can damage our photoreceptor cells, which are present at the back of our eyes on the retina, which we are going to discuss later. And also, when we blink, we are basically removing the dust particles that are trapped in the moisture in the eye. So these are the three functions of the eyelids. Now, what is the function of the eyelashes? Now, the eyelashes are hair which can trap the dust particles and prevent them from entering into the eyes. What is sclera? Sclera is made up of tough, dense connective tissues, which is the white portion of the eye. This is only the visible portion. However, think of the eye as an eyeball and sclera as the coating, the outer coating of that eyeball. So the sclera is present throughout this whole eyeball, but we are only able to view it over here. This prevents any mechanical damage to the inner structures of the eye. Then we have the iris. As we have already discussed, iris controls the diameter of the pupil, and pupil allows the entry of light, and tear duct from where the tears will come out. Now that we have discussed these structures, let's look at another structure that is not labeled in the diagram, but it is still present over here. It is a transparent, thin, white structure, thin transparent structure that is present over the external part, the exposed part of the eye. Now it is named differently, however the layer is the same. The layer which is covering the sclera is known as conjunctiva, and the layer which is covering this iris part is known as cornea. With that, we are done with the external parts of the eye. You should know the labeling of these parts. Along with that, in the next slide, I'm going to give you the functions. So these are the functions which we have discussed, and you can take a screenshot. In this, we are going to take a look at the internal structure of the eye and its functions. Now, first of all, in order to understand what portion of this eye is, you need to consider eye as an eyeball, and you're slicing it in half, and the semicircle of the eye, you're viewing the semicircle from the inside. And this is what eye looks like from the inside, the cross section of the eye. So basically, we are aware of the pupil, which is over here. We are aware of the iris, which controls the size of the pupil. We are aware of the conjunctiva, and we are also aware of the cornea. As you can see in the picture, this whole layer of cornea is a little bit extended. It is an outward layer, and this is due to a liquid which is filled in this space that is known as the anterior chamber. The liquid which is filled in this space is known as the aqueous humor. Now, as we studied that cornea is a mucus producing layer which helps refraction of light rays entering from here, 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 and all sides, so that they can be refracted and they can enter into the eyes from this pupil hole only. So aqueous humor also aids refraction and keeps the eye into its place. Then we have this as the lens. The lens is attached to the surface of this eyeball with the ciliary body. The ciliary body is basically an extension of this surface of the eyeball, and this ciliary body and this lens is attached with suspensory ligaments, which are these line kind of structures that you can see over here. These both of these structures are present on both of the sides of the lens, and they are responsible for the curvature and the thickness, or the thinness of the lens. Now, as we move further inwards, we have this whole space. This whole space is filled with vitreous body, which is also known as vitreous humor. This was aqueous humor, and this is vitreous humor. The vitreous humor is a jelly-like substance which is also maintaining the position of the eyeball in the orbit in the skull. Along with that, it also helps refraction. So when light rays are going to enter from the pupil, and when they are refracted from this lens, this vitreous humor aids refraction, and they can be formed on this outer layer, which is this inner layer, which is the retina. Now, this retina is a tissue which is made up of photoreceptor cells. The photoreceptor cells are the ones which are sensitive to light. What do we mean by them being sensitive to light? Sensitive to light means that whenever they're exposed to light rays, they are being stimulated. Okay, so whenever the light enters, then they are stimulated and they can form the image. There are two types of photoreceptor cells. We do not have them included in our syllabus, but their names are rods and cones, which is just for your general knowledge. Now this layer, this yellow layer, is the retina, which is the innermost layer. Then we have the choroid. The choroid is also discussed previously. This choroid brings nutrition and oxygen supply to the eyes. And then we have the last whitish bluish layer. This layer is known as the sclera. And this, as we have already mentioned, that sclera is covering the whole of the eyeball. So this is the sclera, and only the visible portion of the sclera is the white portion in your eyes, in the external structure of the eye. Now, this small depression, which is mentioned as macula, is also known as fovea centralis, which is a depression in the retina. This is a portion where we have the maximum number of cone cells of the photoreceptor cells, and the most bright and most clear image is formed if the light rays fall onto this depression. Then this is labeled as the optic nerve. Optic nerve has both sensory neurons and motor neurons, and it is connecting this to the brain. The optic nerve takes the nerve impulses in the form of electrical impulses whenever light falls onto the retina, and photoreceptor cells convert this into nerve impulses, and the nerve impulses are taken. Optic nerve also plays a huge role in the pupil reflex, which we have already discussed in the other video. Now, this optic nerve contains the blood supply as well to supply blood to the living cells in the cell. This is basically the internal structure of the eye. In the next slide, I'm going to show you the functions of the eye. So you can take a screenshot of these and learn them later. And thank you so much for attending.